Hi, and thanks for joining. It's Patty from PS Paper Crafts, and I want to show you today how to make this card. I love this sentiment, thinking of you makes my day, and the little birds. I'm using the Ornate Garden Designer Series paper as my background. You can use whatever paper you want. And I'm using the Quite Curvy Stamp Set along with the dies that go with it, the curvy dies. This is a new product that's an early release of the new catalog that will come out in January. That's the mini catalog for the springtime, and it has Celebration attached to it. So it's nice we get an early release of a product. So let me get started. I'm using early espresso because that is in this paper, and I like to coordinate that. And I have my card base, and then I have actually just a couple of pieces because I don't know if I'll get it all done in one. So what I'll do is I'll get my die. So these curvy dies, they have different pieces that curve. This has leaves, and this is the one we'll be using. This has dots, and then they cut out some of the, you can cut this out, and then the birds. So let's get started with this. The one thing you have to pay attention to with these dies is it's going to cut it across, but the top will be just plain, and then the bottom will have this. So you have to make sure you're facing your die the right way to get the right curve you want. So I'm just going to put it up here. So I have this facing down. Actually, I want it the other way. I have to think about it. So I want this cutout to be on the top, if that makes sense. So let me get my die cutting machine out, and we'll just cut this quick. So I just want to use just the base, and then the 2 plate, and then a 3 plate, and I'll put this through. And sorry if it's too shadowy here. I'm trying to, it's a cloudy day, so I don't have much sun, which sometimes makes it better for filming. So I just want to put that this way and put the top plate on and just run it through. And I'm sorry if I'm shaking. Usually I don't do my die cutting on camera because of the shaking, but I wanted you to see what this comes out like. So this, it cuts really nicely, and I'll just get my die brush here. There's one here, and I may have to cut this down. So I'm not sure, there's not exact measurements. I mean, the piece is a 4 1/4 or a 4 by 5 1/4 that I'm cutting from, and then I'll see how deep it is to fit on my card if I need to cut a little bit away from there. So then I'm going to do the same thing with this end, and you want to make sure you get all these little pieces off because it will kind of squeeze down and make a bump in. I don't know if you see them, but I have some leftover pieces here that I don't want to interfere with my next cut. So now this one I want to cut up, and I wanted this one a little bit higher. Again, I may cut down, and then I'll have this scrap. You could use it as a slope for another card, you know, cut the bottom straight. I'm going to use it for my birds just to get everything out of one piece. So let's go through here and get that cut. Oops, see, I did it wrong. See? So I have an extra piece. That's the part of this that's, I should have had them facing up. Okay, so let's try that again. I have the extra piece here, and you just have to really play with it. I'm just brushing off these pieces. So let's try this again. I want to get these pieces off. So see, you get to see my mistakes. I think we all make mistakes, so it's only paper, and I will use that for my birds. to stamp them and cut them out. So let me get this other piece that I have extra. And let's try this again. Sometimes I just have to kind of talk to myself. So I want these facing down. So see, like this? I did it the wrong way. Let's try this. Now I could have cut that out of my video, but maybe it'll save somebody when they're cutting this that they don't make the same mistake as me. How's that? As soon as it went through, I saw it was wrong. So now this I could use for a slope for a Christmas card, maybe cut it down a little bit. And then we have this piece, and let me just clear off my die real quick, and we'll be done with that. The pieces really fall out so nicely. I love the new dies, and this die cutting machine is really great as well. So let's put that aside, and let's get rid of this. Okay, so now we want to do our stamping. Let's just see what it looks like first. So this will come up here. Now if you wanted more of this showing, you could cut down one piece or the other. I think this is a little bit higher, plus the curve is a little bit different, but I think it's good. And now with the stamps, I actually curved this around. So it's photopolymer, so it has a little bit of a curve to it, but I wanted a good curve. So I just kind of curved it and made it the shape I wanted it to be. And it's nice that you can do that with the photopolymer. And it's not exact, but it's it gives it enough of a curve to make it look like it's going along. So just get it the way you want it. Okay. And each time you cut this, depending on how you angle it, your curve may be a little bit different. So I'll stamp the sentiment in the early espresso ink. And I'm just going along here. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just like a little swoop. And I think it's really pretty. And then we'll cut out the birds. We'll stamp them and color them and cut them, and then we'll put our card together. So there's 3 different birds you get, and they each have coordinating dies, which is really nice. So they're facing different ways, and this is really pretty, but I'm going to use it as scrap. So we'll stamp each of the birds, and then I'll color them. So I'm using Memento ink because I'll color them with stamping blends. Okay, so let's put this cap on. And the blends that I'm using are dark Seaside Spray, light Crumb Cake, and light Calypso Coral. And the first thing I want to do is just kind of color their bellies. So I don't know if you can see, but they have like an orange belly with some brown and then the blue. So the way I did that was I just colored some orange in their belly, and then I went over it and kind of blended it, because that's how I see, I don't know what kind of bird, but I've seen these birds like a sparrow or something like that, I don't know. And they seem to have like that brown with a little bit of orange. So I wanted to get that look, kind of a natural look. But you can make the birds any colors you want. I love coloring with the blends. So I hope you can see that. It's just the brown with a little bit of orange in it. And we'll do this last guy. And you can go over it multiple times and make it more orange if you wanted to. And then we'll color the feathers and the tail with the Seaside Spray. We actually have bluebirds, not blue jays, but bluebirds in Florida, and they're so pretty. I had never seen them before, and I love them. I love birds, so this is my thing. I could watch birds all day. So I'm just lightly coloring this, and with these blends, you really just barely touch the paper, and it does really nicely. And there's a fat end and a thin end. I am using the fat end, which I'm just being very careful. You could use the thin end. See that? I got a little off, but that's okay. There's actually a, and let me get it and see if I can fix that. There's a white one that kind of removes color. It's called, I think, a color lifter. So it helps you if you wanted to highlight spots that you've colored, or to remove if you've gone out of the line. So let me just get that. So I have the color lifter, and I don't even know if you could see what I'm doing here, but I just went out of the line a little bit. There I was talking about using the fat end instead of the skinny end, and you can just kind of remove the ink. It doesn't work too well with dark colors like a dark red, but I think this would be okay. And I'll go back and do it again. So I'll take my dies and cut this out. I'll just step away and do this, but there's dies for each of them, and they're so cute, these birds. I think they're just like a happy addition to this card. So we have this guy, and then this one. So I'm going to just cut them out. I'll be right back. So I think these birds are just the cutest little things. We'll put them aside, and let's start putting our card together. So I'm using liquid glue, and I'll just glue. You could put this down and have it lifted a little bit, but I have the birds lifted. So you could put dimensionals and have this kind of up higher. I laid it flat, your choice. I don't like to have too many things lifted if you put it in the mail. And I'm just going to kind of dot around the side here just to make sure it lays flat. And we'll just go right edge to edge here. Okay, and then we'll put this one on. Same thing. Just kind of go, I just like to get a little bit of glue right on the edge, and we'll go this way. So this is a great kind of fall card because of the colors, but I love that sentiment. I think it's really cute. And let's put this on our card base, and then we'll do the birds and do the inside. And this is pretty. So this is a specialty paper. I don't know if you could see it, but it has gold foiling in it, and it's really pretty. So you can color these flowers and have the gold shining around. We do have some really gorgeous designer series papers that what's really nice is you can match the colors of your paper. So, you know, the brown, there's a green, there's bumblebee. It's really makes it nice. So now I want some dimensionals for the birds, and I'm using the minis. If you don't have the minis, you can just cut a bigger one. So let's see where we want them. Kind of have him up here, and this one looking up, and then this one down here. Okay, I like to place everything to see where I want it before I put it down, just in case. I mean, I'm following the card that I did before, but sometimes things are a little bit different. You know, this is wider or whatever. So it's good to just place things and kind of check it out. Okay. Aren't they cute? I know I keep saying that, but I think they are. I think right here. Okay, so on the inside, I did a little bit of branch using this stamp, and I only did a little bit of it, and I did some of the birds as well. So let's get the inside going, and let me get a scrap. Okay, so let's push this aside, and I have my stamp all mounted here, and I did the green on the bottom first, but then for the bird on the top, I had done the green too low or too high, and I couldn't fit the bird in. So we want to make sure we have the birds facing the right way. So we want this bird here, and then this bird. So I'm going to stamp him up first, and then I'll know where to stamp the green. And I'm really just getting the edge. Okay, so the way I'm coloring this is I'm doing the green in dark gold olive, and then I'm doing the birds the same. And since I'm using Calypso Coral, I did the flowers. So I'll probably speed this up. I'm going to do the same thing with the birds' bellies, and you know, just blending them together with the Calypso Coral and the crumb cake. Okay. Okay, so that's all done, and now we can put our card inside in place. So I don't know if you noticed when I did the leaves, with these blends, you could just dot. I mean, it's so skinny, and if you have a little bit of white showing, that's okay. That's not a problem. So don't press too hard and get frustrated, because they really are beautiful to color with and to blend with, and you just have to get the feel of it. It almost like bleeds a little bit out, so you don't want to go too close to the lines. I hope that all makes sense. But isn't that cute? I love them. So I think this is really pretty. Again, you can use any designer series paper, make it more springy, fall, whatever. And if you wanted to lift this up higher to give it kind of a shadow and a 3D look, you could do that as well. But thanks a lot for joining. I hope you check out this new product. It's really cool. Have a good day. Bye.